Morning!
Take two.
Yeah, take two. Bit of a hiccup with the camera there, but we're going now, we're rolling. Yeah, Saturday the 13th of July 2024. We're doing something a little bit different today. We're still in uniform, obviously. Yeah. But this time
we're
getting our money's worth out of it. We're off to Bushmills today. We're helping out at the Bushmills Through the Wars exhibition, which starts today and runs through until Monday the 21st, if I'm correct. Yep, we got invited to come along and display the uniforms.
Sunday the 21st it would be.
Would it?
This is the 13th, tomorrow's the 14th. Anyway, well, it's running for a week anyway.
Yeah,
so
9 days to be all in. Yeah, Glenda Rodgers invited us along. Glenda's the brains behind the whole thing. Hopefully we'll get a word with her, get a bit more explanation about it when we're out there. We've got a couple of celebrity guests coming along. I'll not say who they are just yet. And hopefully we're in for a good day.
So come with us again, come with us. Let's go, let's go.
We're going.
See you soon. Just coming into Bushmills. 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 Whatever you want to call it.
Well, we're nearly there. Back over here. There's Mischief.
There's a little Mischief.
So here we are. This is Glenda. Glenda's the organiser. Glenda, how long's this been going on for? And what started it all?
It's been going since 2006. My father lost a cousin on HMS Hood and an uncle on a submarine. So there's always been bits and pieces of that around the house. And in 1989 I went to the Somme looking for war graves, and then I started doing Bushmills men of the Second World War.
Couldn't ask for any better than that, could you?
That's enough.
Okay, so that's us on the exhibition hall now. We'll do a quick walk through before anybody starts coming in. Get a quick feel of what's on display. There's all D-Day stuff here. Postcards, stones from the beaches like we have at home. Excuse me. Infantry regiment plaques. A strange one for the 4th Infantry Division because it's usually the 4 Ivy Leaves. Unless that's the British Division. Collection of gas masks. Air raid prevention.
We're still going backwards.
A hand pump for fire extinguisher.
What a call we done last night. Me.
Female air raid wardens uniform. Private James Galt, military medal. You've got quite a mix of stuff. Second and First World War.
Thanks very much for coming.
Okay, First World War, we have relics and artifacts. German stick grenade. Okay, it's a replica, not real, but that's what they look like. British Mills hand grenade. These things were designed to impede the horses, cavalry, and fashioned out of barbed wire holders. I think it would be very remiss of me to come to a military exhibition featuring a Jeep and not include it on the video. This one here, you might remember her from Kellyboon Castle. This is Miss Chief. And Miss Chief has been a bit of a staple here at this exhibition ever since it started 18 years ago. Formerly owned by a gentleman called Vince Cook. Used to take tours around Bushmills. Vince sadly passed away recently, and the Jeep is now the property of the Rodgers family. But all it is now is static exhibition. Don't do the tours anymore. Just to give a little bit of insight. Right. This is one that didn't tell. No, it doesn't have the maker's name. Well, we get way down in here. Truck, quarter ton. The serial number, but not the manufacturer's name. Now it's either Ford or a Willys. That much I can tell you. But what we're going to do is try and do a little bit of video from each day and piece it all together into one. Well, not a long video, but we'll piece it together to try and make more sense. Good morning, everybody. Well, I suppose it's early afternoon by now. Sunday, July the 14th, and just about to head off back to Bushmills, to the Bushmills at War exhibition, back in uniform again. It's only for 3 hours today. It doesn't start until 2 o'clock. I think this is to do with allowing people to do their church business. It's all systems go from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, so if you're about, please come around and let's see who you are. Cat doesn't care. Okay, so we're back again. And this time we are in the Forget-Me-Not Cafe. And we have on display some period civilian clothing, ladies, furs, china in a cabinet very much like we have at home. Famous Lord Kitchener poster. Six little tables, all set for high tea. Here's an old wartime poster. We need your kitchen waste. That brings us to, then we have the kitchen area. The Country Rose china I think I have at home too. And of course no wartime setting would be complete without a picture of the great man himself, Winston Churchill. So before we get a hall full of visitors, we'll start with Matt's display of American World War II. Maybe memorabilia is maybe not the right word, but it's his collection. M1939 gloves, which there's some dispute about as to whether these were actually used or not, but nonetheless they are Second World War period. The M6 combat knife. M6 combat knife. This man here, Lieutenant Robert Matthias, 508th Parachute Infantry Regiment of the 82nd. According to Matt, he has a family connection with this guy. Get him to explain that a bit more further on whenever he comes in. His first mannequin is the paratrooper with the M1 helmet, para chin cup, the yoke, extra padding in the shoulders to ease the load, the M2 para knife. It's basically a pocket knife which would have been used to disentangle themselves if they got caught up in their own lines after a jump. A first aid pack. Most soldiers would have carried more than one. As we can see, there is a second one hiding in here. Bayonet. Yep, that's the second field dressing there. You'll see the pockets are all stuffed to the throat. These would have been filled with extra clips of ammunition, extra grenades, extra rations, just anything that they could possibly get in there that they thought they might need whenever they hit the ground. This is the 82nd Airborne, of which 2 regiments were based in Northern Ireland before going to France. The 505th were based at Killymoon Castle, and the 508th PIR were based at Camp Cremore, just outside Portstewart. Not a lot of people would know this, but from the first American soldiers arriving in 1942 until the last ones to go to Normandy, approximately 300,000 soldiers and airmen of US soldiers and airmen passed through Northern Ireland alone. This is a folding stock for an M1 carbine. I'll show you a bit more of that in a minute or two, complete with leg holster, paratrooper jump boots, similar to my own. Various garrison caps. This one would have been a later version of the one I have, which incorporates the glider regiments, as they were also part of the 101st. Short leg boots with the gaiters or leggings. Gas mask pouch. Bandoliers, again water bottles, a drenching tool, and a backpack that basically folds out into a flat sheet and then folds up over whatever you want to put into it. This here would have been the second mannequin, 29th Infantry Division. These guys weren't paratroopers. They carried everything, waterproofed everything as much as possible, like this rifle here. because they were coming off the landing craft on the beaches, sometimes into deep water. Pockets slightly different. This is a combat vest on top of the jacket, and this on the shoulder, this was a test for chemical weapons. It changed colour depending on what was in the air, and they knew when they react by just by looking at it and how they react. Yeah, bandoliers and the bayonet down the side of the rucksack, extra rope. And these guys, if nothing, were loaded when they went in. They had everything possible with them. Again, 29th Infantry Division patch. Shorts, socks, t-shirt and a shirt. So these helmets here, these belong to the Navy Beach battalions. This one here is the 7th with the red half moon, and the one with the white half moon was the 1st Engineer Special Brigade. Yeah, and according to the legend here, among the tasks of a Navy Beach battalion were establishing and maintaining shorty ship communications, guide incoming and outgoing beach traffic, small boat repair, set up aid stations and field hospitals, evacuate casualties, and the demolition of beach obstacles. 7th Naval Beach Battalion remained on Omaha Beach for roughly 3 weeks, after which it was returned to the United States and later decommissioned on October 6th of 1944. So their existence was pretty short. It's a wooden crate of the kind that which would have contained Coca-Cola bottles. Here having the 3rd mannequin. This is a rifleman of the 2nd Battalion of the Royal Ulster Rifles, who would have landed on Sword Beach. There's such a very marked difference in the material used to make his tunic compared with the material used to make the American tunics. Typical flat British helmet. Field racing attached to the side. Again, rope for any emergencies. Royal Ulster Rifles shoulder patch. Square ammunition pouches and the yoke. This must have been some sort of early kind of life vest. Obviously inflatable, judging by this tube here. That's definitely not the kind of material I'd want next to my skin. So let's talk some weaponry here. Ulster rifles. Sten gun, Sten machine gun, 9mm, magazine fed, operated on the blowback, direct blowback system. So a round was fired, the bolt was forced back by the recoil, or the explosion within the breech. This came back, the spring carried it forward again, lit the next round into the chamber, and repeated the whole process again. Then we have 303 Enfield, number 4. Standard issue rifle for the British troops of the time. And behind we have 303, and then behind we have .303 Bren gun. brand being derived from the name of Brno, where it was designed and built. This would later become, it would be rebarreled and rechambered for the 7.62 NATO round and become a British Army's LMG, or light machine gun. Now going back up here to the American weapons, pretty much got everything they would have carried. At the back we have M1A1 Thompson submachine gun, 45 caliber, with a 30 round box magazine. Below that we have the M1 carbine, 30 caliber. Again, small box magazine. I think it held about 10-15 rounds. It's not the folding stock version. Like this one down here, this has the stock folds to the side, as you can see. This was just a solid one-piece wood. Moving along, we have the M1918A2 Browning automatic rifle, the BAR. Probably would have been used in the late part of World War I and carried forward to World War II. Very effective. Slow rate of fire compared to some weapons. This here below is the M1 Garand 30-06. Very, very famous for its ping whenever the last round was fired and the clip was ejected. You might be able to demonstrate that at some stage today. But that's a brief overview of Matt's display, I have to say. All in all, very, very impressive. Okay, we're here in the party centre and we do have young Lewis. Young Lewis is here after his much wanted trip to the zoo yesterday.
Yeah.
You didn't want to be there,
No,
but anyway,
definitely not.
Lewis is going to talk us through. This is all Lewis's collection here on this table with the white cloth. So, if you're one of 13 is interested in the Second World War and beyond, is unbelievable, and his knowledge is even better. So, I will point something out and get Lewis to talk us about it. So, what can you tell me about, let me see, these buttons for example, what did they come off?
They came off a British officer's tunic, I believe, so I was told. At the end of the war. After.
You don't know what regiment though?
No, I can't remember. I'm not exactly 100% sure.
Can't see enough detail on the buttons to figure it out myself. But yeah, you told me about this thing here yesterday.
Yeah.
Or not yesterday, the day before.
I'll lift that out. Just to... So this is a black powder spoon for either refilling bullets or for the musket guns. So on the inside and on the side you have your different amounts that you could put in, and then you put it in the top, pour it down your barrel or your bullet casing, and then put in your musket ball or whatever, and then you're sort of ready to go for distance and range and stuff.
We reckon when we were talking about this on Saturday, this bit here could be as much as 100 years old. Probably, maybe even predating the First World War.
Yeah.
The handle we're not too sure about.
No, I think
It kind of looks a bit new.
Yeah.
It could be original, we just don't know.
Yep.
But yeah, thanks for that, Lewis.
No problem.
I see your Royal Ulster Rifles cap badge on here.
Yes. So this actually came from my granda, I believe. I'm not 100% sure where he got it, but I know he did have it on his berry at a time.
So, Royal Ulster Rifles would have been involved in the First and Second World War. Royal Ulster Rifles, that mannequin over there, they were part of the 6th Airborne Division and would have been involved in the taking of Pegasus Bridge. Again, it's hard to tell whether this badge is pre or from the Second World War. It was the same badge. Like I said to you on Saturday too, this is part of the legend of the UDR cap badge.
Yep.
Whereas at the time of the formation, there's several officers and they were saying, what's the cap badge going to be? And allegedly one officer pulled one of these out and broke off the scroll that says Quis Sever Rabbit on the bottom, threw the rest of it on the table and said, there's your badge.
Yep.
Now again, as I say, legend. I don't know whether it's true or not, but there may be an element of truth in it. Okay, moving along. Is this a telescope?
Yes.
Yes, brass telescope.
Yep. So,
Almost looks Napoleonic.
this is a naval telescope.
That's what I would have guessed actually.
We did think that there would have been leather or whatever, cork or whatever on it, but no. But tried to trace it back but can't find anything, so it's just a nice part for the collection. Yeah.
Right, let's move on. You've got a lot of coins,
Yes.
shrapnel,
Yep.
various calibers of ammunition. The watch,
That
is there a
is
story behind the watch?
sort of, yeah. So the pocket watch is actually my great grandma's. I believe from before the war. With a crow's foot stamp, so
This
I'm
is
kind
obviously
of
military.
yes. I'm assuming that it's the war with the crow's foot being on it, but can't find no.
The crow's foot was used basically to designate military property. If it was issued by the military
It could have been.
or commissioned by the military, it would have had that on it. Like it was still being used, and probably still being used today. Certainly was being used in the 1980s and 1990s whenever I served.
Yeah. No, it's a nice watch.
Pocket watch, almost certainly an officer's one.
Most likely, yeah.
They didn't give those to every Tom, Dick and Harry.
No, definitely not.
Right, let's move along. What can we see here now? The boot polish. We have Dublin, 2 tons of petrol boot polish. Pickering's number 97 web equipment renovator. Now, I've never heard tell of that before.
No, I do believe it's from the 1950s or 60s. It's still got the contents. But I
That would
haven't
probably have been
So we're heading in 2 different directions.
well, it might have been Korean period,
I think so.
early 1950s.
Yeah.
But as well as that, there was national service at that time. So it may have been one of those.
Could have been.
A national service soldier during his time. Okay, going to this next case here. Saw this the other day. Let's see this bayonet out again.
Blade of colour and intelligence.
Not a blade so much as a spike.
No. It is a Lee Enfield Mark IV spike bayonet. There was a date on it, but I think it's been scraped off. Not much of a point, just looks like a bit of a screwdriver, really.
Yeah. You get the impression that if someone stuck one of those into you, especially in your abdomen or in your body, that wouldn't have been fatal in itself,
No.
unless it
definitely
was
not.
through your head.
Yep.
That made a difference.
Yeah.
But I think it was more to disable rather than to finish
Kill.
off.
Yeah.
Nasty piece of equipment all the same.
Yes.
And we've got various photographs and other things like Swift matches. I can remember buying Swift matches in the shop in Castle Row back in the
Yeah.
late 70s, early 80s when I smoked. The ribbon bar. We have the Victory War and 1415 Star. Do you know what this one is at the other end?
I was told, I know it was, but I can't exactly remember what it was.
And if see anybody showing any interest in this case through the day, ask them. You might be
Yes.
able to find out.
I will do.
Now, the bugle. Tell us about the bugle.
So
It's
the
a family connection, isn't it?
yeah, so the bugle actually came from my granda. Granda told me before, well, a brief few years before he passed, and he never really told me much about it. But he did tell me that it was from the war. I'm not sure what regiment or
Yeah, because
Where-
there's no engraving on it or anything
no,
to tell us.
just a small marking on
Unless
the mouthpiece.
the only clue might be in the colour of that braiding around
It could be,
this
yes.
here. And this. Anybody knows what regimental colours those might have been, or these tassels?
Or whether
Feel-
it's a
feel free
curtain
to say in the
tie-back or
comments.
whatever.
Yeah, as Lewis just said, possibly a curtain tie back. You never know. War throws up many wonderful things, and that looks to me,
40mm Beaufort.
yeah, Beaufort's,
round.
yeah. That would have been an anti-aircraft round,
Yep.
and those would have been set to. Those would have been set to explode at height, anything from 20,000 feet upwards.
Yeah.
So you weren't safe anywhere.
No, definitely not.
The good old VMS boots.
Yep.
Previously bowled, obviously. Starting to, a bit like my own, they're starting to crack and lose their sheen a wee bit. And then this beast of a butter knife here. What can you tell me about that?
This, I'll bring it out first.
Yeah.
This is a 1907 Wilkinson's bayonet, used in the First World War on the Lee Enfield rifle, and it would have done a wee bit more damage than the spike bayonet.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a nice piece.
You can see why Wilkinson's got the job for making the razors then, can't you?
Definitely.
Yes, there's a... It's not sharp, but
No,
it didn't have to be with a point like that.
but still do you damage.
Painful. And you have a shell dressing bag there, which is very much like my musette bag on my shoulder here. Probably came from around the same period.
Yeah, 1943
Yeah,
came from.
this was I believe this is a 1936 musette bag.
Yeah.
Could be wrong, but I'll double check on that. The berry has no cap badge on it. But
No.
again, that's a personal connection, isn't it?
Yes, that's my. So the berry is my uncle Bill Bombers, who was taken prisoner of war in 1940 in Dunkirk, and kept there for 5 years by the Germans, and everyone at home assumed he was dead because no one could find him. And yeah, I was lucky enough a couple of months ago to be handed his berry, as part of my collection.
Is that like dark green?
I think it's
I think it is.
black, possibly for the tank
Well,
regiment.
If you turn it over again, now what's on the inside? 7 1/8 Kangol Ware Limited. That's exactly what was printed on the inside of my first berry. I joined up in 1980, so 40 years apart, and they're still using
Yep.
the same clothes, same berries. Mine didn't have the ventilation on the side of it right enough, but it's still. Okay, a little bit further on, and what we find here is horrible contraption. Gas mask for babies.
Children, babies after they had been born, obviously weren't big enough to wear one of these gas masks. So they designed these ugly contraption things that the baby would have slid up inside of.
If you weren't born claustrophobic, you were claustrophobic.
Yes,
then you
definitely.
After your first time in.
And your lungs full of asbestos.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't want to move that around too much.
No.
It's like it's all the original materials, so the asbestos and the canvas and everything is, God knows what's hiding in it.
Yeah.
And Morse code divisor.
Yes.
Device. Sorry, divisor.
That's a light Morse code used at night to send messages for soldiers to see. So in here would have
bulbs.
a spike, and then these two rods. And you screwed them together, and the spike went in the ground, and the light was screwed on top. And then you would have placed it into the ground, and it would have faced a wall or whatever.
Yeah. So this would have been something similar to a semaphore signaler on a ship.
Yeah.
Where you see flash, flash,
Yeah.
flash, flash, flash.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. So it
So
faced
this
the wall.
was just a portable version of the same thing for soldiers. It's trying to read here. Is there a date on it? Doesn't seem to be.
Don't think so.
Clearly wartime.
Oh yes.
You can tell by the canvas wrapped cables.
Yeah.
Interesting little piece.
Yeah.
There's a hand torch, very much like the one I used to carry too.
Yeah. I believe it's British.
Yep.
I don't really know much about it. It was just sort of buying away I went, but
This is exactly the same
definitely nice.
as you used to screw the base off, and you would have coloured lenses inside. You'd replace in here,
Yep.
so you could either a red one, green one.
Yeah.
These were used when we didn't have access to the vertic lamps, which had the knob on the top that you turned, and you had white light, green, orange, and red. And those were used for basically stopping traffic or signalling to other ships and stuff. But these, that's why, as well as access to the battery compartment, you had the spare lenses in there so you could change the colours
Well,
as needed.
actually, in there, I think it is. Yep, it is the extra bulbs.
Yes.
And 2 extra bulbs.
Yes, the difference between that one and the ones we carried back in the 80s, that would have been deeper, maybe a half an inch deeper or so. So you had a separate compartment for your extra, your lenses. Sorry, get that out yet. But yeah, absolutely the same. Other than that, so that wee torch has done a lot over the years.
Definitely.
Right, these medals. You know anything about them?
I don't know who they have came from, but I do know what they are.
What they are? Okay. Take us through them from left to
So
right. Then.
the one from the left is the King George Coronation Medal from 1936, I think. Yeah.
George VI.
This medal is the 39 to 45 service medal. Well, so Wikipedia tells me anyways. This is the 39 to 45 star, which I do believe is the same as this medal, according to Google as well. But yeah.
Very interesting. You have an ammo box there, you have a liner from a helmet itself. This is the
Turtle helmet.
standard British turtle helmet, yeah. The net on top of the helmet is. We used to carry something like that kind of material, but they called it a face veil. It was used for camo.
Yeah.
Not for camo in your helmet, but for camo in your your face,
Yes.
and like, if you're on like an operation where you're required to sort of blend in and really blend in,
Yeah.
you'd have pulled that over your head, put your helmet on last, and then you weren't seen, but you could see out.
Yeah.
A few things here. Oh, I'll set that down like that. Right, talk me through.
So these here are car ration books for your petrol or diesel or whatever. You do also get motorbike ones for petrol or diesel, same as the car. And you would have got so much fuel every month or week or so.
Exactly.
And
Rationed.
Yeah.
I'm just going to lift this up a second because I'm getting a terrible reflection from the light just above us here, so yeah. Let's see. Motor car. Divided into engine sizes. This one, top one's for 1101 to 1500 cc's. And the next one, the black one, is for 1501 to 2200 cc's. And the bottom one for 2201 and above. So depending on the size of the car you had, that dictated how much fuel you were allowed.
yeah.
So yeah, I've never seen that one before. That's a new one on me.
Nice piece.
Yes, doesn't want to settle again. There we go. And your stretcher. Now, I was speaking to Una and Brendan McKenna yesterday, and they brought stretchers with them.
Just that they're sitting down the other side.
Second World War stretchers from RAF St Angelo, used in wartime.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to get rid of that one and take one of theirs, they're happy to give you one.
I'm happy enough to work.
Yep. The man says yes. Right. So I'll contact Brendan then and say yes, Elliot or Lewis wants that.
Yes, that'll do.
I took one of them, took it home with me yesterday. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. It's way bigger than anything I have on display.
No, but they're a nice piece to have.
So that was Lewis's collection, and I think he talked us through it really, really well. So probably by the time I get this posted up, this exhibition will be over. But that's no reason why you shouldn't come next year, or the year after, and the year after that, and support the charities that this exhibition supports. So get off your butts and get out here.
Yep.
Tell them.
Yeah,
Get
get off your
butts and get out
in
here.
This morning, she was in there.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you. They never went to that.
It would be very remiss to come to a Bushmills Through the Wars exhibition and not include Robert Quigg VC. Robert, according to the legend here, he was born in the townland of Ardahenan near the Giant's Causeway in 1885, and for the most part of his early life he worked as a farm labourer for the McNaughtons of Dunderave outside Bushmills. War broke out with Germany on August of 1914, and together with his friends, Robert Quigg enlisted in the 12th Battalion of the Royal Irish Rifles. Among the officers was the son of his employer, Lieutenant Sir Harry McNaughton. But the war wasn't over by Christmas as they all had thought. After initial army training, Robert's regiment was sent into fight in France, and at daybreak on the 1st of July 1916, Robert took part in the largest attack attempted by the British Army in the Thiepval Wood on the River Somme in Picardy, northern France. The battlefield is today known as the Somme. British forces were trying to capture a complex German emplacement known as the Schwaben Redoubt. Now, the story of Robert Quigg from here. The next morning, Robert heard that his officer friend Harry McNaughton was wounded and lying out in the field. So Robert, on his own bat, went out looking for him under heavy shell fire and machine gun fire. Looking for him, never found him, but every time he went out, he brought back a wounded man. 7 times. 7 times out, 7 times he brought back a wounded comrade. The last man he dragged in on a waterproof sheet from within a few yards of the enemy's wire. He was 7 hours engaged in his most gallant work, and finally was so exhausted that he had to give it up, therefore earning the Victoria Cross. Robert Quigg, VC. He has his own commemoration society. He survived the war and is buried out in Billy Parish Church. We have a photograph of him here meeting the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh on her coronation. And he passed away in 1955. Very much the local hero. Very much the local hero. Okay, it's day 5 of the Bushmills Through the Wars exhibition. Wednesday, 17th of July 2024. And we're going to concentrate today on this little wall of memorials. Bushmills men who fought and died through both wars. I'll select a few of them and give you some of the details. And shall start with Samuel Alexander of the Royal Artillery. Died 11 September 1951. So, one that survived the war. And beside him we have Samuel McCaig, Pioneer Corps. Died 12th of June 1942, aged 33. Private Samuel Craig was accidentally killed while on active service in Scotland, so he wasn't even in a war theatre. And below Samuel we have James Sinclair of the Merchant Navy, ordinary seaman on the SS Victoria City. SS Victoria was a sloop and one of the main naval vessels used in the evacuation of a British expeditionary force from the beaches at Dunkirk. James is remembered in the Tower Hill Memorial London and Ballantoy Parish Roll of Honour. And sadly we do not have a picture of James. Moving along from James Sinclair we have William John Tweed of the 1st Battalion Royal Irish Fusiliers. 697-9743, died on 19th of January 1943 at the age of 20. William Tweed died of injuries that he received from the enemy at Tobruk. Buried in Medjez El Bab War Cemetery in Tunisia, commemorated in Dunluce Parish Church. And a very grainy photograph of the man in question. A lady, Violet Moore, a lady, Violet Moore, Women's Auxiliary Air Force, leading aircraft woman 2099386, died Tuesday the 19th of February 1946. Doesn't say how. It says she's buried in the family churchyard at Drumholme and commemorated on Dundas Parish Roll of Honour. This is Violet. Right underneath Violet we find James McAllister of the Royal Navy, Petty Officer, Submariner. Died 21st of June 1942, aged 27. Only son of James Hull and Catherine Glass, brother of Rosetta, Mrs. Tommy Rodgers, who would be, if I'm not mistaken, a relative of Glenda's. James is commemorated in Portsmouth Memorial and Family Grave and Tober Key Presbyterian Church. Walter Ascoff, 2nd Battalion Irish Guards, Guardsman 2719124. Died on Wednesday the 4th of December 1940, aged 19. The youngest man to die whose name is on our war memorial is Walter Ascoff. He was the son of William, Walter and Olive Ascoff, buried in Brookwood Cemetery, London, and commemorated under the Dundas Parish Roll of Honour. I think I should point out here that all these casualties are Second World War. I'll just stop it for a second. We have 54 of these in total. Let's pick another one. Fred Wilkinson, 2nd Battalion Royal Enniskillen Fusiliers, Lance Corporal 6980126. Died Thursday 23rd of May 1940, aged 20. Frederick Wilkinson was born in Antrim, lived in Londonderry. His battalion was on home duties and training when war broke out. Fred was involved in a rearguard action near Dunkirk. And the quotes underneath: the War Office has notified Mrs. Matilda Wilkinson that her son, Lance Corporal Fred Wilkinson, is missing. And Mrs. Taylor has received intimation to the same effect regarding her son Jim. Both young men were serving with Enniskillens. So, missing and presumably never found. Robert Glenn. Robert Glenn was the only son of Archie and Margaret née Rodgers Glenn. He had one sister, Anne, whose son Gordon served in the RAF. The Glenn family had immigrated to America, and after their mother's death, when they were quite young, their father sent them home to their mother's parents at Ballinasтрade. They were brought up by their grandparents, Alex and Anne James Rodgers. Robert joined the Navy when he was 17 years old, had completed 15 years service when he lost his life on HMS Hood. For those that don't know, Hood was sunk by the Bismarck. Only 4 survivors. Take on one more. Alan Lamont, Royal Navy. Able Seaman 17853 HMS Jagger. Alan Lamont's sister, Mrs. Maggie Patton, gave me a cherished photograph of her brother Alan. He served with the Royal Navy, commemorated on Plymouth Naval Memorial in Devon and Dundas Parish Church. And this is Able Seaman Alan Lamont. So, we'll leave that one there. So there's 54 of these on this wall, and there are various crosses down the bottom as well, a few other casualties. Yeah, a very good and very humbling display. Okay, morning folks, it is Thursday, the 18th of July 2024, and we are at day 6.
If I'd have said that, I would have said Jim.
Yes.
It's July,
You have to keep thinking about that one, yeah. Day 6 of the exhibition. And it's a dirty, wet, miserly day, so hopefully we'll have extra people coming in here because they can't find outside stuff to do. So let's go in and see what's going on.
Is he gone?
Right, we're going to concentrate on this wee display today. This is largely given over to the late Vince Cook. Vince is the owner of this Jeep, and the Jeep has now passed hands and is in the... It's the Rodgers family that take care of it nowadays. So, I'll just read you this little bit out here. So Vince came from Staffordshire and was a great friend of Bushmills through the wars. He brought his World War II Wallace Jeep over to our first exhibition in 2008, but sadly passed away after his 10th trip in 2017. We all loved his cheery personality, his kindness and friendship. He had the ability to talk to young and old and was a mine of information. He was respectful of everyone, which was evident from his main interests and hobbies. His exhibition of the Red Bull Express was very dear to him, telling everyone about the experiences of the American Negro and their amazing, almost forgotten role in the Second World War. He did his military service in the South Staffordshire Regiment and was very proud to wear his Staffordshire knot. His life could be summed up as Poppy's forget-me-nots, mischief, the Staffordshire knot. It's Friday the 19th of July. We're into day 7 of the Bushmills Through the Wars exhibition, and I haven't a clue what I'm going to concentrate on today because I'm here on my own and I don't have anybody to hold the camera for me. But anyway, stick around, we'll see what happens. Yep, day 7, let's go. Right, for today's display we're going to concentrate on this D. McNeil, the house for value. I would imagine this would have been a shop display in wartime. And you'll see a lot of very familiar names even still. Palmer's Sugar for 7, and sacks of table salt. We still get sacks of table salt. It's in a plastic container now. Chivers used to be famous for jam and marmalade. Tate and Lyle sugar, we still get that. One thing we don't get is Battleship brand evaporated milk. And this little display here is just like a biscuit tin. Bartlett pears, dried eggs. Yeah, so we've dried whole eggs and dried machine skimmed eggs, imperial custard powder, coffee from Lucky Strike, Bourneville cocoa, Roundtree's cocoa, number 99 tea, and the list just goes on and on and on. Blended tea, cooperative tea, sweet wrinkled peas, heavy packed apples, and someone's a meat and vegetable ration. Southern Cross tuna. So yeah, tin tuna was a thing in the Second World War. Tinned tomatoes, tinned salmon, Pura Vida. Yeah. Right, remember this, free Bentley's corned beef. Oxo. Finest lentils. Okay, flakes. Well, that's tobacco. Kit Kat, dark chocolate Kit Kat. Pastels. ARP toffee. Pineapple flavour. And you have all these matches, smoking materials. Sweet Afton, Virginia cigarettes. Fries, 5 center chocolate cream. We finished all that up with Leicester Oak Ale. Pollard's Leicester Oak Ale. Or is that Pollard's Oak Ale from Leicester? Hard to know. More run than I was expecting already. I suppose it is the middle of the afternoon now. We're usually here late morning. So today's collection is artifacts and photos from El Alamein battle in Egypt in 1942, largely between Bernard Montgomery and Field Marshal Irvin Rommel. A collection of photographs here of graves and cemeteries and memorials and the badge of the desert rats. Names of locals who were involved and killed. And we have this memorial window erected in Belfast Cathedral by the officials of the Belfast Bank. in hallowed memory of the members of the staff who made the supreme sacrifice in the Great War. So this is not, strictly speaking, the Alamein. Second World War from the prison camp. First aid kids. Some might recognise this as a swagger stick. A copy of the Radio Times. May the 9th, 1941. And we also have various bags, shoulder bags. This would have been a water bag, canvas water bag. Typical shoulder bags, hats, medics bags. Various photographs. Robert Mulligan, Lance Corporal from A Squadron, North Irish Horse. Died on 23rd of May 44, age 24. This is Mr. Mulligan. There's soldiers on a Churchill tank. And that's Corporal Mulligan's grave. Photograph of Mr. Mulligan, that's Corporal Mulligan. Letters and postcards from family. Day 9, and it is Sunday the 21st of July 2024, and haven't decided on a target as yet, but we will see.
Target.
Yeah, that's what I call my
There's the area
listen.
sound going off.
The Jerry's are coming. Right, yeah, anyway. Day 9.
Day 9.
Day 9, I'm confusing myself here now. Day 9. We'll go in and we'll choose a display to concentrate on and add it into the video. So yeah, catch you later. So this is a proper World War II air raid siren. We'll maybe get her a blast tomorrow for closing time.
Aye, well.
We'll get her filmed and sounded.
I don't want to do it again, I don't have to do it.
Aye.
I'm going to spend today's moment concentrating on fashions and materials of the day. This is something that your granny might have worn, or your mother, depending on how old you are. It's peach collared top, coupled with a red dress, slip-on shoes. Then we have peach coloured button-up dress. The hairstyle is maybe not correct for the period, but yeah, the mink stole. And this one is 2-in-1 again. Well, that's Bushmills Through the Wars 2024 over and done with. Uniforms are all hung up again and just waiting for next year to come round again. Settled down on our comfies here at home. Kind of missing it a bit here. Yeah, it was a good 10 days. I enjoyed every minute of it. Laura wasn't there every day, but whatever time she spent there, she enjoyed it as very much as well.
Did I?
Well, you told me you did. You told Glenda you did. Anyway, we just want to say a very, very big thank you to Glenda and her team at Bushmills Through the War for having us along as part of the exhibition. It was great talking to the kids. It was great talking to the adults and parting on a little bit of information. Roll on next year is all I can say. Yeah.
Plan to do between now and then, but yeah.
Bye.
Bye.